Hello and welcome to another how-to video. My name is DAITECH, CTO at DVS, and thank you very much for all the likes, shares, comments. We couldn't do it without you. But before you move on, don't forget to hit that notification button, bing, hit the bell, subscribe, and you'll be notified of all our weekly upcoming content. Again, without you, our channel would be nothing. Today, we're going to bring something a little bit different, and I hope a little bit of information, a bit of insight, and something that you guys will really be able to pick up and run with. What are we going to look at today? Well, we're going to introduce to you the new TP-Link Omada range. Yep, you heard it here first, the TP-Link Omada range. Now, many of you know the TP-Link brand. It's available through DVS already, but you can also buy it in other retail outlets. It's a very consumer-led product, whether that's Wi-Fi extenders, Ethernet over mains. They're the main things that they really do. They got smart products like some CCTV cameras, smart bulbs, LED tape, etc. Now that range is super popular, widely available, and they are really one of the staple consumer brands in that electronic market space. Really reliable, really cost effective, and super easy to use. They've built their product around the consumer, which means not only is it very easy to set up and use, but it works. So bear that in mind. They also make a range of PoE switches or desktop switches that we sell at DVS, and they're very popular because they're very super cost effective, very reliable, but also offer loads of functions and features. Now for TP-Link, they want to take themselves a step further. They want to get into that marketplace where they're really considered also, keep the existing market space in the consumer-led market that we also do very well in, but they also want to offer a product in the product lineup that is considered enterprise. So they start to capture a wider market for professionals that really want that quality, super well made, really feature and function rich, but at a very affordable price point. So this Omada range is a step in that direction. So what is the TP-Link Omada range, I hear you say? Great question. It is a range of network products, so PoE switches and Wi-Fi equipment, and there will be more as the solution application develops and grows, that allows you to use a software developed network, so SDN. They call it the Omada SDN solution. SDN, software developed deployed network, whichever you want to say. It allows you to take their Omada compatible products and allows you to configure and deploy it through a very simple smartphone app. So those of you that have got a smartphone, like we all do, download the TP-Link Omada app, and it allows you to configure and deploy and one-touch provisioning in minutes. So what historically, as long as you've got Omada compatible devices, and that could be a switch like we've got here, and I'll show you closely what these devices are shortly, whether it's Wi-Fi products, etc., and as the range grows, more of that, so like VPN routers, etc. It allows you to slot an Omada product in and manage a site or multiple sites very easily, very conveniently through a smartphone app or through a desktop client. Now you can have zero-touch provisioning, you can change things remotely, you can deploy remotely, you can update the firmware at a touch of a button, you get all of the health and statistic reports. It really is a game changer. So all of the people out there that are our customer base that are already using sort of cloud controlled network products, and there are a few out there, one brand specifically that is very well known. This is a super cool alternative. We have stock, it's readily available, very easy to configure. You don't need any training. Like I said in the beginning, because they're from a consumer-led market, they've learned all their lessons and they understand how to make things very easy to program and deploy, and all of those lessons and teachings have gone into this solution. Very powerful, and it allows you to give this as a solution to your customer base. So if you're an installer that wants to offer a managed service to your customer base. So let's take a smart home application where you want to deploy a network-based solution, your customer's not tech savvy, and you want to offer a value-add service where you can install a router, switches, Wi-Fi products, but be able to configure them remotely. So if your customer's got an issue, you can change the Wi-Fi password and SSIDs remotely. You can add them in. You can give health reports. You can reboot devices to bring them back online. You can do all of that at one touch of a button through the app. So it's a really, really cool service you can add as a value add to your customer. You don't have to. You can set it all up through the app and then simply hand that over to the customer so they have all of that benefit themselves in the app or through the web browser and can manage it internally. If you're an IT customer and you want to manage your own IT through this SDN solution, again, very simple, very powerful. So some of the solutions in the range, this is something that we are going to promote and go live with in our price list very shortly. So our new price list is due imminently. It's a heavy focus on this because I believe we can really grow the marketplace together. Some of the devices which we'll highlight today. So for instance, we have a gigabit VPN router. So if you're a customer and you need a VPN router or you want to start linking sites through a VPN, it's a very simple to set up, cloud-based, cloud-controlled VPN router via TP-Link. Very, very well made. So gigabit VPN routers, different variations. They've got ones with SFP slots, they've got multiple ports. So this one is a 4-port one, but they've got a 2-port one. So different variations depending on what your needs and application are. But again, a gigabit VPN router, all controlled through the cloud. The next one, you can see here, there's the Omada symbol. So any of the devices with the Omada symbol on it are the ones that can talk and communicate with the cloud-based controller. You can have many sites controlled by a single app. All you need on site is a simple hardware controller, which I will show you shortly. So again, this is specifically a wireless gigabit ceiling mount access point, and you can have multiples of these managed. Different versions of this available, but you can see there centralized management through the Omada app, long range coverage, seamless roaming, PoE injector included, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz compatible. So that's one of the versions. We've actually got that here on the desk. So this is what it looks like, and I'll show you the app to show you how you can interact with that very shortly. But again, very simple to install, deploy and manage through the app. We have an outdoor one. So this indoor-outdoor access point. So for those customers that have got, you're in the hospitality retail and you've got a beer garden or a cafe outside, or you want to extend the Wi-Fi into a domestic property, this is an indoor or outdoor Wi-Fi 6 compatible access point. All modern smartphones and laptops contain the ability to have Wi-Fi 6 connectivity, but do check with the local manufacturer. Wi-Fi 6 gives better coverage, faster speeds and more user connections. So it definitely is something to consider moving forward. So again, Wi-Fi 6, and again, completely controlled via the app. Mesh technology, centralized management, long range coverage, waterproof and dustproof. That particular device we have here. So again, connected on standard PoE, so standard Cat5 or Cat6 cable directly into the bottom of it. It's got a universal bracket on there. You can disable the LEDs. If you don't want LEDs, you can disable them. All configured through the app. But this is the long range outdoor Wi-Fi 6 compatible access point. So again, really good selection in the range. We have a gigabit ceiling mount version, and again I'll show you that shortly. Again, Omada compatible, the EAP 660 HD, so ultra fast speeds, gigabit access point, ceiling mount, and again Wi-Fi 6 compatible. Wi-Fi 6 is the one. Okay, so the Omada app I've already installed. Obviously I had to set this up. I'm using an iOS, iPhone all the way for me, but it is available for Android as well. So we're going to open up the Omada app. Straight away, it'll show you all of the sites I've got. So I've just got one site, which is the DVS Omada controller. It's the master controller, and then I add all my peripherals under that. I can simply click on the plus symbol at the top right-hand corner, and then that's where I can add another site. So I can have multiple sites added under the same app. Now at the bottom of the screen, I've got cloud access, local access, so I can click on that, but I don't have any local controllers added because they're cloud-based. That again, like going back to, you use the controller, add it to cloud-based, and you have that full option remotely. Now, standalone access points, if you wanted to add standalone access points without the cloud controller, so they can only be managed locally on site, that's where you'd add it. And of course, then we've got the account notifications, so you can turn things on like controller offline, device connected, new firmware available, etc. Network tools, I can do ping tests, etc, etc, etc. Now if I go back to cloud access and select my site, this will load the site, so it's obtaining all of the information from the cloud controller or the hardware controller on site. It's now connected. We're now connected to this site. Top right hand corner, I can drop it down and select multiple sites if I had any, just the one site. The ISP, I can set an ISP up if I know it. I don't know it, well I do know it, but it's just not worth me adding it. Now this is a default snapshot of everything that I've got connected. So I've got one switch, so it's that Jetstream 24 port switch, 2 access points, and I've had 103 clients over this couple of months deployment where we've been testing it connected. And you can scroll through and see some alerts, click on more and it tells you all of the events and alerts. So it's really, really powerful. Tells you lots and lots of information, and I can export that log. Active APs, network switches, tells you the traffic activities and switch traffic activity. So lots and lots of helpful information in here, and I can switch it to clients and it will tell me very similar information. Now I can click on the switch at the top where you've got the different devices. Click on a switch and it'll show you, or on the devices, it'll show you specifically what's connected. So I have 2 wireless points and a Jetstream 24 port switch. Now I've actually deleted one of the devices from the app to show you how easy it is to add and provision it. So I'm going to plug it into the 24 port switch and give it a minute to boot up. So it's that 360 ceiling mount device. You can see it's actually missing from the device tree because I did delete it. Very simple to delete and remove it for it to be used on a different site if needed. Again, I've just plugged it in. It'll take a couple of minutes to go through a startup procedure, so we'll come back to that. But it's very simple to do. For instance, if I wanted to configure or change the outdoor access point, this top one, I can click on it and it gives me all of the details. So the channel utilization on the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, IP address, MAC address, firmware, so connection, uplink or wired, downlink, no child ones. Radio tells you all of the different frequencies. This is really stupidly powerful. How many users are connected to it? How many guests have connected to it? So I don't have any users connected to it currently, but I do have 3 guests because I set up a guest network. I can locate it, move it to another site, reboot it, firmware upgrade it, or forget it from the site altogether, which is what I did with that 360 ceiling mount. I forgot it, which then allows me to provision it back in later. So very simple to do. Top right hand corner, you've got the configuration. And again, I can, if I needed to, I can, it's set as dynamic IP, but I can set statics, fallback IP addresses, etc. Radio, I can configure 2.4, I can turn them on and off, look. Set the channels. Load balancing. So again, associated clients are SSI thresholds. WAN groups, LEDs, I can turn them on or off, but they're on as the group setting. And we'll come out with that. And again, so it's very simple to use, okay? Very, at a touch of a button, really simple. Now I've gone back to the main page. You can see that 360 wall mount. It's been detected. I plugged it in. The Omada controller on site has detected it, and it says pending. I can click on it, and I can adopt that device to the site. Of course, I want to adopt it, so click adopt. It's now going to adopt the device. Take about 30 to 60 seconds. And that will become part of the family tree. There we go. Now it's provisioning it, and then it'll come back to connected. It's really as simple as that. So it'll do its provisioning thing again, 30 to 60 seconds, and then it'll come back as connected. And that's it. Super simple. I'll wait for it to do the connected thing. Does take a minute, like I said. And connected, there we go. So again, if I open up the 360 one there, I've got the IP address, all of the different parts I can do on it. Like I said, 2.45 gigahertz. Move to site, reboot, firmware upgrade. So even if it's in a site, you can do it. It's still currently adopting it. But again, it's adopting into the main one. And so it's basically effectively done. What will happen now is it'll actually take, so this site, where I've set up the SSIDs and passwords, it's now, because I've adopted it to this site, it will just simply adopt it and push through those SSID and passwords, so it'll become one sort of meshed network effectively. If I go to the switch at the bottom, while it does that, it does take a couple of minutes, but you could do 50 units on this and it would simply do it. You can see how quick and easy this can really be for a site-wide deployment. Again, if I go to the switch at the bottom, the 24-port switch, again, lots of data. It shows me what ports are connected and what speeds they are and if they're PoE. So visually, very simple to do, and I can scroll through it like this. IP address, clients, fan status, memory utilization. Again, I can click on the settings, top right-hand corner, and I can change the IP addresses, dynamic, etc. Change the IP address. So there's more. What I would say, there is more detail in the web client, which I will show you, but on the fly, it is super easy to use. So if your client's got a problem, you can see straight away if there's a problem with a device, you can reboot it. Engineers fix 99% of the time, reboot a device, it comes back online and there's no issues. And there, if I refresh that, that's all of my devices. It's super simple to use. At the top right-hand corner, the 3 dots, click on that. I've got a batch upgrade. So if there's loads of new firmware, I can upgrade in one go. So that's really easy. I've got the dashboard. Again, going back to the dashboard with the sites, etc. Again, super easy. Under settings, under wireless settings. So I've got sites default, but I can change the name. I've got wireless settings. I've got the guest and a test one. And again, I can add one, so I can set the security level, turn the different frequencies on and off if it's a guest network, broadcast SSID, and then I can even set a password. So I could put network test. That is the security password 12345, 12345. I wouldn't generally use this. Leave 2.4 thing on. It's SSID is broadcast. Click done. So now I've added a second one in there. As you can see, I've already got a couple in there. So I can add it remotely for my customer. If my customer's forgot one, I can go into it, change the password or change the settings on it on an existing SSID. And again, it's site-wide. So that will push it to all of the devices underneath that site. Meshing is enabled, but I can turn it on and off. Auto failover, connectivity detection, full sector DFS. Controller settings, again, simple. Cloud access is on. Admins, I can change and add admins to it as I require. Maintenance, so I can reboot, reset, firmware upgrade. So there is a firmware upgrade. Look, so if I click on firmware upgrade, there's already a firmware upgrade for the controller. So I won't do it now, but I could download and upgrade that. And then the reset button. There is a reset button on front of the Omada hardware controller. If I disable that, it stops your customer resetting it, hardware reset. It does nothing. So it still enables you to have the control you needed rather than messing up, pressing default and then losing all the configuration. So it's a bit of a safety net. That, my friends, is how simple and how powerful that this system really is. Okay? Done. So that's the app. I'll transfer you over to the web client and I'll give you a brief overview of that. But just the free, and again, another thing to think, the app is free. There's no ongoing cost for this software deployment. So there's no licenses. It's all wrapped up in the cost of the hardware. So there's no ongoing licenses to use this. Simple, free, effective, and very powerful at the touch of a button. I'll show you the web client because there is some functions and features in the web client that aren't available through the app. But I think you'll agree how powerful this is as a solution. So give me 2 seconds and we'll transfer you over. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint. I'll just flick through it. So the TP-Link Omada, you can see SDN. That's typical architecture. This is the new future of SDN. So your on-site Omada controller. There's your multiple sites with your access points all controlled in the cloud in a centralized manner. You can pause the screen at any time. So zero-touch provisioning, hassle-free centralized management, easy network monitoring, assign different management roles, AI-driven technology for stronger performance and easy network maintenance. We've got VPN, stronger security, high reliability. TP-Link really is such a good brand to get behind. heat mapping, so it shows you where the Wi-Fi is. Visual graphs for performance. Geographically, multiple language. And these are the devices. So that's what the app looks like. We've walked through that. Wi-Fi 6 on a lot of the devices. Again, lots of different access points. And I'll flick through this. You can just pause it. If you want to read it, pause it and read it, yeah. It's a big PowerPoint. Lots of different devices. We've selected what we believe the best of the best for our customer base. But again, we can always bring in more as the solution application grows and demands. So this is the TP-Link web portal. So again, very similar feel to the app that we've just walked through. But again, if I click on this and load that site, so specifically load this site up. Wait for it to talk to it and gather the information. So very familiar feel to it. You know, with the app, it gives you the same sort of look. So you've got your devices, your hardware, all of your reporting that you would have had before, statistics. So again, performance-based statistics. And again, because I don't use this network as much as I should do, but again, I can select different devices, and it'll give you all of the statistics based on that, or select it. And it'd update you effectively. But there we go. It is just a test network. Switch statistics, again, like the app, tells you everything that's going on the switch, plus you know, the active ports, if they're PoE, what speed they are. Speed test statistics, again, you can do that if you want to. Map, you can drag and drop. So with the topology, so this is my current topology, but I can actually put labels to these. I can label the client, so I know exactly what my topology is. So where all my devices are, what they're connected to, what they're named as. Same with a map. I can drag a map and drag and drop devices on, so I can just drag these on like this. If I want to, I can import a map, show device name, so it can even show that and overwrite it so it doesn't show the MAC address. Locate it, you know, I can do settings, lock it. It's really, really powerful. Again, if you want to spend time doing that, you absolutely can. Just import your own map. You can add description, upload the image, etc. Then put your own map on there. Really simple. Devices, similar to the app, list everything there. So again, if I select that as a device, shows me everything here. And again, my LAN, uplink, radios, clients, config, statistics. And again, if I want, I can go to config. I can change, you know, LEDs, IP settings, radios, VLAN services, advanced. Some of this you can't do for the app, you see. And then manage device. You can upload it, the firmware, move it to another site, force provision it, forget it. But it really does depend on, you know, what you're trying to do with it. And again, the same, you can update the details. So like under the, so basically under this, you can actually update the password, SSIDs and password for the site. And the clients shows you everything that's connected, not connected, the speeds, wireless, wired. So you get full data, you can export that. So it's a very, very good login, and you can see all of the connected devices. Insight. So there's all the known clients, past connections, past portal authorizations. I haven't done that, so it's not enabled, but I could click to enable it and give it all this stuff. I'll come back to that. So port forwarding status, I don't have any ports forwarded, but it would tell me. VPN status, routing table. So it's very, very detailed in what this can give you as a report function. And the same with the log, it gives you all of the different events, notifications, and then I can, you know, narrow it down or actually export it, you know, for my own reference. Under the admin, so there's two of us admin, so it's both me but two different logins, and I can create a new admin, so I can give that to my customer and then limit those applications should I want to share that with my customer. And under settings, a lot more stuff. So the site name is default, but like I'd give it like DVS HQ, for instance. United Kingdom, daylight saving, office, hotel, restaurant, shopping mall. Or I can create a new one. So I could call it like a hotel. All of these different functions you can enable, disable the device account, save that. Wired networks, you've got your internet. So a lot of this stuff you don't need to touch, and it depends on the equipment you've got fitted. But I can override that, select the gateway models and fill in all of these details. I'm not going to, because it works fine. Again, with a LAN, the different networks, interfaces, the profiles, so I can set up different profiles and different switch settings depending on the switch. Wireless networks, again, so all the SSIDs, passwords I can create, add, change. Let me get rid of that. Add, create, change, edit them. Network security, so you've got all your network security, attack, defense, and turn them all on, etc. Firewall, again, depends on what you want to do with a firewall. You can do port forwarding, etc. Transmission, so you've got your routing and your NAT there if you need to do any port forwarding, etc. None yet, but I can create a new rule and go through it as normal. Session limit, bandwidth control. VPN, so you need the VPN router specifically for this. So you create a new VPN user, fill in the details. I've got one here. I'm not using it specifically. We've already got a dedicated VPN to access our network. I don't need the TP-Link one, but it's here for show and demonstration. Profiles, authentication. It goes on and on and on, so I'm not really going to go too much into this. And then services. So you've got DHCP, dynamic, SMP, reboot schedule. So you've got PoE schedule, so I can turn PoE ports on and off. So I could select the port that's on a schedule. So if you want a device to be powered up or powered down on a schedule. Reboot schedule, because I can set that if I want to reboot a device at a certain time. And then you've got your controller. So I've already, setting up your controller, the basic details, and all of the different parts there. Cloud access, yes, I want cloud access. That's part of the point of it. Maintenance, migration. So I can migrate this to another site. So if I've got two sites, like I've taken another part of a building and I want to merge two sites, I can actually migrate the sites together. And then auto backup. So all of the details are configured, backed up they're the backup files there. And you set the parameters there. It is very, very simple to do. There's a lot more to this. There's a lot more updates coming. Should we need, as these new functions come online, they'll be updated on the portal. And again, you can email, so enable alert emails, click yes, send the alert within 60 seconds in one email, and I can put an email address in there, remote login, advanced features enable. So again, lots and lots of stuff you can do. So hopefully, the advanced features, there you go. And that's it. So there's effectively you've got the WAN and the app. The app is super cool. If you're on the fly and you want to be able to diagnose or get notifications in real time of devices that are an issue, so you're definitely giving a value-add service to your customer. Again, the ease of setup, deployment, just using this web client or the app is absolutely phenomenal. I can't see any negative in why people wouldn't get on board with this TP-Link Omada. And I said it's very cost-effective compared to other brands out there that offer a similar configuration setup. There's no ongoing charges. It's on the shelf, it's available, and it definitely puts the power into your hands. I hope in a very brief video we've been able to demonstrate what we can do for you and your customer base. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. Other than that, have a great week, and we'll see you next week for another how-to video. As always, thanks to TP-Link for making equipment, and 2, providing it so we can do the testing and make the video content. For now, it's a bye from me.